What's up, data people? My name is Matthew Hevron, and welcome to Lesson 22, Dashboard Clone Number 2. Today we're going to be cloning a dashboard titled Trail Usage in the US by Fred Nahar. Fred, sorry if I totally just screwed up the pronunciation of your last name, but I put a link to his dashboard in the description below, so give it a download, and let's open up the Tableau Public app. We'll go to File, Open. Let's click the dashboard we just downloaded and we'll hit open. Next, let's right click and we'll say duplicate the original. Let's unhide it and let's go ahead and make this the original blue. So we'll go through, make it blue. Here is the clone. So we'll rename this to clone. Let's make this one red. Perfect. And let's start dissecting this and looking at it. So the first thing is the size. We're looking at a fixed size here and it's 1000 pixels by 800 pixels. We have 3 sheets. We have this bike, pedestrian, and visitor sheet. Cool. Let's look at the layout. There's a blank container. And if you remember this trick, you can take a blank container, put it on an axis, and then a user can't click on it. So that's what that's doing. We'll go ahead and close it. We have our chart here. Close this one. We have a container, this horizontal container. There's some text in it. So let's look at the text. There's no text. So that's probably being used for formatting. Let's see. Yep, because this just stretched out when I removed it. If we go up here, there's some more text. Let's edit. Okay, there's no text in there, so same thing. I removed it, it went up, so it's just used for formatting. We'll go ahead and close out the sheets, and we're left with a background image. So perfect. So we kind of see how this was made up. So now we can start cloning it. So the first thing we'll do is we'll create a new sheet. We'll right click, we'll say rename, and this will be bike clone. Right click, color, let's make it red. And then let's start cloning this thing. So what do we need? Quite a few things going on here. First thing, let's look at this filter. It says table name, bike count. So table name, drop that on filter. We can do bike count. We had a week of on the top. Let's go week of. It is continuous, but it is also custom week number. Okay, so let's go back to ours. We can come in here to more custom week number and we'll make that continuous. So week of, week of. Cool, same. So next, let's look at rows. We have some 2019 counts. So we'll come over to bike clone. Let's grab 2019 counts. We'll drop that on. And let's look at what type of marks we have going on. So for the 2019, it looks like we have measure names, attribute week of. So we can grab week of, drop that on detail, and that was an attribute. So we'll do that. See what else we have. Weekend and attribute week of again on tooltip. So weekend, let's grab weekend, drop that on tooltip. This attribute was also, if you hold down your command key, we can just drop that on tooltip. What else? We have some 2019 counts. That was on detail. All right, we can put that here. 2020 counts, detail. What else do we have? Then we have, it looks like a calculation. Okay, this is 2020 divided by 2019. So let's go to ours. Let's drop this here. We can double click and let's just paste that in. Boom. Oh man, getting there. Okay, so now let's hover. Let's look at this tooltip. So we can go to tooltip, very custom here. You can see it here. Cool, I like that. All right, So we'll come in here, tooltip. Let's drop that in, hit OK. Beautiful, looking good. Okay, perfect. I think, we can edit this axis here. So let's go ahead though first, before we do that, let's look here because we have an additional mark down here. So we have this 2020, so you can see on rows we have 2020. So what we'll do is we'll grab 2020, we'll drop that on rows, and then what we can do is we can right click and we can say dual axis, and we can also synchronize this axis. So we'll come over here and we'll say synchronize, and then we're gonna say uncheck show header. This week of, I don't believe was displaying, so we'll get rid of that. We'll hit edit here. There was no title, so we'll get rid of that. Awesome. And then let's keep looking at this to see what else we got. We'll hit edit, and it's a fixed start, fixed end, 189, 148, and what's tick marks? Fixed, and we got 0, 50,000. All right, let's make it the same. Just trying to remember everything. We'll hit edit, we'll say fixed. Already forgot what that is, but I remember this was fixed 0 to 50,000. Okay, perfect. Let's look at the difference. Looking pretty good. What we can do too, just to double check, you can right click and you can say copy formatting and paste formatting here. You can right click here too, and you can say format, and you can come in here and you can also edit these as well, all these different lines. Perfect. All right, so I think our bike sheet is it done? I think it might be done. Besides this fixed, so it's 189, 148. So let's go to bike and let's right click. We'll say edit and we'll say 189, and it was 148. We'll hit enter. Perfect. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. Sorry about my kids in the background. Next thing we'll do is we'll create pedestrian. So let's click a new sheet. We'll right click, we'll rename, and we'll call this rename. Let's call this pedestrian. Pedestrian. Pedestrian clone is what we'll call it. And then we'll make the color red. Perfect. And what do we have here? So this is week and this is date. So let's look at this. Again, it's a custom week number. So it's week. So we'll come in here, drop that in, right click, and we'll say more, week number, right click, and we'll make this continuous. Let's go back. We have some 2019 counts. All right, so we'll go 2019 counts, drop that on here. Let's go back to pedestrian. Let's see what else we have. Table name. All right, so this is just pretty much the same thing. We can grab the table name, drop that on filters, change that to pedestrian. Another way we could do this, because as I'm looking at this, I think it is pretty much the same. So it might be easier just to flip this filter. So let's go ahead and delete it. We're gonna say duplicate. We're gonna rename this one to pedestrian. So we'll name that pedestrian and it will be clone. Perfect. And then we'll go to the table click this, we'll flip this filter, hit OK, and let's see, pedestrian, let's just say copy formatting, make sure we have that right, paste formatting. Yep, that's looking good. Something looks a little different here. Oh, let's go edit this bottom axis, 0 to 47. Okay, so let's look at ours here. Then this is, let's hit edit. Oop, not clear. Go back. Let's go to edit one more time. So it's fixed 0 to 47, tick marks 1 to 4. So let's go to pedestrian. We'll say show header, edit, fixed, tick marks, fixed, 1 to 4. Perfect. And then we'll go back to general. And what was this one? I forgot already. Edit axis, 0 to 47. Okay. So we'll go here. We'll say edit. Let's make this one 0 to 47. And then we will get rid of the text. Close that. All right. And now we click. Perfect. Now they match exactly. So next, let's go ahead and create this visitors. So we'll create new sheet, rename, call this visitors, year over year, and clone. Let's make it red. Perfect. And then let's look at how this is being made. So the column is sheet. So first thing, let's grab column. Let's put in the sheet. Let's go back to visitors year over year. And we have measure names and measure values here. So let's right click and let's see measure names. We want 2019, 2020. So on filters, we'll grab measure names, drop it on filters, 2019, 2020. Perfect. Measure values, let's drop that on rows. Let's look at it here. So the first one, we drop that on rows, and you can see that it's a line. So we can change the type to a line. And then let's grab measure names again. You can hold down your command key and let's just drop it right here. And the second one, let's go back and double check the second one. You can see we're using a circle. So we'll come here to ours, go to the second one. We'll make that a circle. Perfect. Then what we'll do is we'll say dual axis. And let's go back to the first one. It's a dual axis. Something's different here though. So let's see. Visitors year over year. So let's go back to ours. Path. Boom. Okay. And then let's add a couple of those values. So if we go to visitors, we have measure names and sheet. So we'll go measure names, drop that on detail. We'll grab sheet, drop that on detail. Let's go back. We have measure names and measure values. So measure names is on path. So measure names also on path. Okay. It's coming along. So measure names is on path. Should I say it one more time? Measure values. We'll grab the measure values, drop that on tooltip. All right, it's coming along. We'll go back to the visitors, and we want it to look like this. So you can see here, it's a line. It's probably a fat line. So you can see, yep, see the sizing is fat. And then for the circle, it's a small circle. So we'll say tooltip or size, and you can see it's small. So what we'll do is we'll do the same thing. We'll go to our line. We want this thing to be fat. So it was real fat like that. Then we'll come to measure values, size. We'll shrink that down. Hard to see because it is the same color. So let's go ahead and go back to the visitors. On this bottom one, we have measure names. So let's go ahead and grab measure names. We'll hold down our command key and just drop that on color. Then we can work on the size here. So we can go to the size, start making that a little bit bigger. We'll make it fit in a second here. Let's grab what else was in here. Measure names. We have sheet and measure names. So we'll grab sheet, drop that on detail, and we'll grab measure names, drop that on detail. And to make our life easier, let's right click and say copy formatting. We'll click the sheet, paste formatting. All right, let's see, there's the axis here. So we'll say synchronize. Then what we'll do is we'll uncheck show header for this one. I don't know if these are displaying. Nope, so those aren't displaying. And then we have the custom axis here. So we'll click this, uncheck show header, and then let's see how they're displaying this. So we'll right click, we'll hit edit. All right. Not going to remember this at all, so bear with me. Nifty little trick. I'm gonna grab my phone, snap a picture. Okay. Tick marks. Snap a picture. Okay, so let's work on this part. So we'll go to the visitors, we'll hit edit, and it is fixed. And we have a value here of 2 million. Get that in there. And then what do we have here? 4. They did 4, 2, 2, 961 dot, let's see, 368. All right, let's put that in there. Close that. It says value here. Okay, let's not have it say value. So we'll right click, edit. Okay. Tick marks. Oh, did I not save tick marks? Let me go back to that. What was that? Fixed. Okay, perfect. So 1 million. Woo! Looking good. Let's see. Ours looks a little bit darker. So let's go to visitors year over year. So for line, we can go in here to color. Oh, the opacity is at 35%. Maybe that's what we're missing. So line, color, let's make this 35%. All right. Cool. Looking good. So now we'll hover over on this one and let's see. So the tooltip has been cleaned up a little bit. So let's copy the tooltip. Go over to ours, tooltip. Paste that in. Okay. Let's go. Oh, go up to all, tooltip. Put that in. But don't hit cancel. Hit OK. Let's see. Looking good. Perfect. I think we have cloned all the sheets. So the next thing would be creating this dashboard, putting it back together. So the first one, this one would be pretty easy. So what we'll do is let's go ahead and I'm going to get my phone again so I can snap a picture of the position here and the size. So I'm going to go ahead and take a picture of that. And we will go over to our dashboard. And we want our clone. Let's grab visitors year over year. We'll drop that. Oh, that's not letting me drop it on. It's weird. We'll say add to dashboard. It says it's added to dashboard. Where is it? We'll say floating. Here we go. We'll right click the title. We'll say hide title. Let's go to layout. Let's go ahead and pull up that image so we know exactly where to position. We're gonna say 58 and we'll say 431, 216, and 180. All right, so that's positioned correctly. Again, let's look at this one. Okay, yep. So bikes, pedestrians, perfect. That label is there. So next, let's drop these in here. So let's go to ours, go to dashboard, pedestrian clone. You know what? This is weird. I've actually never seen this when you try to drag and drop and it's not letting me. That is strange, but if I go add to dashboard, it adds it to the dashboard. Not really sure what's going on there, but we'll just work around it here. So we'll drop that in here. Let's pull this in, drop it down a little bit, hide title, and I believe the pedestrian will be down here. And let's see how this is positioned. We'll go to the original. If I click it, I go to layout. I can click that positioning. I will just snap a picture of real quick. Bear with me. Boom. All right. So let's go to our dashboard and let's look at the position. We are looking at 307. This is going to be 432. We're going to call this one 642. And the height is going to be 319. Enter. Okay, so now that's positioned nicely. And let's go back to dashboard, bike clone. We'll do the same thing where we right click and we say add to dashboard. Click it, make this thing floating. I wonder if it's just showing up behind and that's why we're not seeing it. I'm not gonna troubleshoot that now, but now I'm really curious. We'll say hide title, and then let's look at the formatting for this one. So we'll give that a click and we'll go to layout, and again, we will take a picture. So I'll take a picture and then we go to our dashboard and it is 307, 144, 642, and 288. Hit enter. Beautiful. Almost. This doesn't look quite right to me. Okay, so let's see. Why was that off? 307, 144. 307, 144. 642, 288. Aha. You can see on this one, there's some outer padding that we are missing. So if we click, let's give it some outer padding of 10. Getting closer. It's almost to the point that we wanted it. Let's see. It was 10 on all sides. And then let's look at this one. Do we also have 10 on all sides there? Okay, so we'll give that a click. Padding. 10 here. And let's go ahead and check this guy. Yep. Padding, you can see left and right, 4, 4, 10 on top. So let's see, how would you do that? We could come to ours. You can see when we click, you can go to the padding. Instead of having equal on all sides, you can uncheck this. So then we can do 10, 10. Perfect. So that's looking better. This is still just a little bit off. So we can manually move it just a little bit. Perfect. Okay, that's looking pretty good to me. Let's go back to trail usage. Yeah, there we have it. So we have successfully cloned this dashboard. So let's publish this dashboard to our Tableau Public site. But before publishing, make sure you review my Tableau Public clone guidelines in the description below. We want to make sure we add a watermark. We want to make sure that we say in the description that this was for learning purposes, and we want to give credit to the original author. So what we'll do is we'll grab an image. Let's go ahead and drop that on the dashboard. We'll select image, and you can select the watermark. We'll say fit, center. Okay. Let's go ahead. We'll make that floating, and we'll fit that in here. We'll drop that on the dashboard. Perfect. So now we can see that this is a clone. This isn't ours. And we will delete the original. So we can go delete, right click, delete, delete, delete. And then what I like to do is I like to come in here and say hide all sheets, because we're using all sheets. And then what we can do is we can come up to file, and we'll go save to Tableau Public as. Trail usage in the US, I'll hit save. So here is our published clone. Make sure, again, if you're publishing this, make sure you add the clone text. Make sure for inspiration you add the original author, and I have some description text for you guys to paste in here. But with that said, I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe. Feel free to connect with me. Join our Slack community, and I'll see you in the next lesson.